So with our handsome Mr. C, we did warm up a few moments ago with a bit of some flirt pole play. So again, he was doing a real nice job with his engage, disengage through the play. I figured since we already did a video about him playing last time, we'll skip that for now. So I know with Mr. S earlier, we were warming up a little bit with trying to get the puppies to start honing in on your side for loose leash walking without gear on. I would recommend that if you're going to try this exercise, try it in and around your home. I'm going to see if lovely Mr. C can work this a little bit. So I'm just warming him up first with a couple lovely find its. And then Charlie, yes. So we're just warming up with a little bit of name recognition, getting him in the groove, getting him cozy and comfortable. Charlie, come. Yes. So remember, whenever we're practicing anything, you do want to kind of let them get comfortable and warmed up. Yes. So I do find that if, let's say, your puppy comes in with a lot of energy or stamina, is to sometimes both mentally and physically work them a little bit prior. So if, let's say, I was going to work on some more brain power type exercises, I'd want to also physically maybe work Mr. C a little bit prior. So I ended up working him a little bit with the flirt pole first, so he would be more receptive to less using of his body and more using of just his mind. So I know for a lot of dogs that have a lot of oomph, you do want to make sure that you're both working the brain and the physical body. Sometimes you can combine the two. Other times it can be more physical fun than it can be more mental exercises. So as you're working around the environment, this skill we worked on earlier with Mr. S is I would just go ahead and start meandering through your bubble. And then if this is in your house, you would be doing this like maybe you're in your living room, your kitchen. What you're waiting for your babe to do, he's like, no, I really like these toys instead, is you're waiting for them to start orienting to you. And when they come in your direction, yes, and then feed. So what this starts to teach Mr. C over here is that whenever the crazy lady starts meandering around, the quicker I check in with her, the quicker I get a paycheck. Yes. So I want him to start thinking that orienting himself from the environment and back onto me has value. This can be worked on with a long lead or training leash. So let's say your puppy is in your yard or in a fenced-in zone. If they tend to get easily distracted, yes, I'd make sure that the long lead or training leash is on there. And the reason behind that is if your puppy can really romp away and get very heavily distracted, they might have a really hard time bouncing back. Hippo, no kicking, please, with your toesies, okay? It makes noises. So again, ready? Right here, yes. So he is obviously sometimes, yes, picking up on my visual body as well. Like sometimes the lowering of my hand helped him do a little check-in. This game would consist of you just meandering and letting him come into your space right here, yes, and feed for his approach into your bubble. So we want him to start thinking that coming into our space has value and that it's a great idea to come check in for, again, another bonus bit. So again, I'm just meandering. Nice, yes. So as he gets more fluid, then we could go into, like, let's say he gets, his ears falling backwards are so funny. Let's say your puppy is getting into a good groove of reorienting to you no matter where you might be in the environment. Then from there, you can even start practicing a bit with that loose leash walking, but not necessarily have to always have your gear. So I know for a lot of folks, we get in the habit of using equipment and sort of pulling or yanking or restricting the dog's movement to try to stop them from making the mistake, which could be pulling past you or applying tension. But remember that whenever your pup excuse me, is applying tension to their gear and still moving forward, they might start to think that that is the behavior you would really like. So if we get some jumping jelly bean moments, I ignore and I feed when all 4 feet are on the floor. There we go, fixing his beautiful ears. Good job. So if your puppy is, again, sometimes giving that jumping, they could be a little overwhelmed or a little overexcited. So he could be just really excited about the snacks. And then again, if I lose him, nice. I might do that positive interrupter, so like little noise to get that kissy noise going, get his focus. Nice job. And again, we just kind of keep meandering. If the hand low is creating this jumping, you want to be careful about always leaving the hand low. You might show it to him, get his attention, then bring the hand more towards your chest or side, and then lower as you're trying to create more of that forward motion in the beginning. Mr. C could also be a bit tired since we did do a little bit of play right before working. So he might be already a little bit pooped out. Ready? Find it. Nice. So ready? Charlie. Yes. Nice job. Gorgeous. Smart boy. So again, we're going to try again once more. You can stay over on that side for now, Oren, but we will work a little bit in just a second. So right now my son stopped, having his snack, and now he's doing his little scooter, and Charlie's a little bit unsure about the scooter. So if, let's say, there's moments where your puppy does get distracted and they get a little lost, always try to go back to them and try to help them. So again, I might go a little closer. Charlie. Yes. Get his attention right there. Beautiful. I'm going to feed for that first little checking in and coming into me, and I'm going to feed for that as well. Nice. In just a little bit. So right now, Oren was wondering when he could come over and start helping with Mr. C, and it'll just be in a few moments. I just want to get Mr. C kind of in the groove and comfortable. So we'll do a little bit more with this loose leash walking. If your babe again does some of the jumping, you could also do the breadcrumb trail. So remember how I mentioned, I know Charlie was using this a little bit in class last time. We'd take a few steps together and then we'd feed the floor. So the benefit of feeding the floor for a lot of the puppies is if they're really mouthy or really exuberant, they do sometimes tend to jump to reach you halfway. Or if they're really jazzed, they're jumping and mouthing because they're overwhelmed and stressed. So I find what can be helpful to help soothe them and calm them a little bit, he's like, lady, watch these dance moves, is to feed the floor. So remember that some habits do take a little bit longer to break. And what I mean by that is if maybe Mr. C has had a lot of chances to practice jumping behaviors and getting reinforcement, even negative attention, he might be a little confused as to what we still want from him. So I'd make sure to either ignore and then instead ask for the behavior we would rather. So if I would prefer him to do a little sit and then give him a little snack when all 4 feet on the floor, awesome. If he's too frazzled, though, go right into some Find Its, and that would be a great way to remind Mr. Handsome that the only time we get some snacks is to do it softer and when all 4 feet are on the floor. Nice. Ready? And sorry about my tickly throat. I know we had to push out one of the classes because, of course, I did lose my voice, and it's mostly back, but a little bit off. In one moment, Oren, okay? So Oren's really wanting to come over and help practice. Okay, well, 1 second, okay, Oren? We're just in the middle of doing this one real quick. Ready, Charlie? So again, I'm still working with the breadcrumb trail. So we're just meandering through the environment. We take a few steps together. And we can go, yes, and then feed for that. So very nice. So this is just helping Mr. C stay a little bit closer to the ground versus trying to meet me halfway, which might be up into my space. Oh, I dropped one right on him. He's like, guys, where'd it go? And of course, it's right on his back. Here we go, my poor handsome guy. One time my husband was cutting up cucumbers and one landed on my dog's back, and it was the saddest thing but the funniest thing ever because she was trying to find the cucumber but then eventually noticed it was on her and then she couldn't reach it. So eventually it rolled off her back, but it was a silly little moment. So nice job, Mr. C. So we'll give him a little break from this exercise and we'll work a few other things in just a second. Ready? So we'll do a little Find It.